Hi, welcome to Living. Wow, my voice went out. Good start. Good start. All right, welcome to Living in Fear, a horror film podcast. I'm Mia, and I'm living in fear.
I'm Luis, and I'm also living in fear.
All right, today we're talking about The Innocents. It is a 2021 Norwegian film. It was written and directed by Eskil Vogt.
But
Yep. So yeah, we'll be talking about that later. What's going on with my voice? But first, we have a couple questions that we're kind of interested in
do we
talking about.
do we want to? I don't know. Do we want any say anything else before we start the questions? Do we want to talk about anything else?
Like what?
I don't know. What have you been up to? Even
What
though,
about? Even though you already know.
yeah,
I mean, you made me start playing Hollow Knight.
mm,
I've been
yes,
raging at that lately.
yeah. I never know if you're happy or extremely mad at me for making you play this game.
No, I mean, I tease you about being mad, but I don't think I actually am. I think there are moments where like I'm very frustrated and I'm like, I hate this game so much, and then like when I get over that and like I step away from the game, I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying it overall. Otherwise, I wouldn't keep coming back to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're in the heat of the moment, you're just seeing red.
Yeah, yeah, it's really it's like one of the best games of all time. It's one of my favorite games.
We'll see.
And yeah, if you can just get past how hard it is, I think this game, I don't know. You just have to like experience everything and finish all the bosses and get through the ending and maybe
I
you'll
think I
see.
was I think I was feeling pretty good about it until you were like, you're not even that far along, and I was like, what do you mean? It's already so hard for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Ay,
I mean, you've only fought two bosses?
yeah, I guess.
Two major bosses? Yeah, there's a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see how it goes, and I think I just keep stopping and like grinding to like get money to get
Mm.
certain things to help me. But yeah, it's overall cool. What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I feel like I don't watch anything when I'm not with you. Like on my own, you know?
You
Like I don't
could.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I don't like
I mean, you read.
I read, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I just finished Absolution.
Oh, you finished it.
Mhm.
How'd you like it?
It is it is very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a lot to say. I kind of want to I told you this already, but I want to do a podcast just by myself talking about books.
Yeah.
And this will be my first book on the podcast. We'll
I
see.
mean, yeah. If finish it and you're like, I have a lot of thoughts, that'd be a good one to start with.
Yeah, I have a history with the Southern Reach though. Like that was Annihilation was a book I studied in college for a class called Reading Literature in the Age of Trump. That was in 2017. But yeah, and since then I've read all of the books in the Southern Reach,
Mm.
and yeah, they're Jeff Vandermeer is an interesting writer, and he's only gotten better. And I would say this is his best book in the series. I wouldn't say in his whole repertoire, but definitely in the series.
Okay. I wasn't sure that you were gonna say that. Okay, cool.
Well, let me rephrase it. I think it's his best writing.
Okay. His
It,
best written one.
yes, but
Okay.
I still think Annihilation is the better book overall.
Okay. That's what I was expecting you to say. was that Annihilation was still probably
Yeah,
your favorite.
that one can stand alone and just be great.
Yeah.
This one kind of needs the whole
Yeah.
series, in order to really get something out of it.
I mean, it's the third one, right?
No, it's the fourth
Oh,
one,
it's the fourth. Yeah, the fourth. That's right.
and it's a prequel to Annihilation.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We listen to him talk. I should know more about this.
But yeah, it's quite interesting. I have a lot to say about it. He's
Yeah.
uh he's definitely mixed up the how he tells stories. Like the first part of this book is written all in journals, all kind of like this like found footage narrative, but
Mm.
with written journals. And then the second part is written through. It's kind of like a normal narrative, and you follow a guy named Old Jim, and he's trying to investigate what happened, like in the journals or whatever.
Hmm.
And then the third one gets really weird. It's from a perspective of a psychopath slash drug addict who says the word fuck like at least maybe like 10 times every paragraph. It's
Wow.
like I almost want to count the F bombs just to see how many there are in this book.
I'd be kind of interested if you like took them all out, how like much shorter the book would be.
Yeah.
Mm.
But anyway, yeah, yeah, I
Can
guess yeah, I've been doing that.
can I also say that I've been watching things on Mubi
Hmm.
and there's a lot of interesting. I mean, we watched The Fall together. That was good.
Yeah.
Finally got around to seeing it. I watched Revenge, which is the director that did the Substance,
Yeah.
another film that she did before. So we got it for the free trial to watch The Substance. And then when you tried to cancel it after the week, they were like, "Do you want a free month?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "I mean, I guess, why not?" And so now we have it for like a few more days, but I was just looking around and there's a lot of like weird, interesting things on there. And I'm kind of like, okay, what am I going to watch before we get rid of it? Do I do a free trial through my own thing at some point so that I can watch more? So yeah, I think movies up and coming, man.
Yeah, man, there's a lot. Well, I don't know. I feel like Netflix has kind of I don't know, they're kind of dropping the ball with their stuff.
I think the other streaming services just have so much.
Yeah.
And like sure there's a lot of good stuff on there, but there's just so much not great stuff
Mhm.
that it's hard to find. Whereas movie is newer and so there's just not as much on it. So what is on it like sticks out more and you have an easier time going through. And like it's not all great, but like a lot of it is really like piquing my interest. And they have a lot of
Mhm.
like foreign things
Yeah.
and like lower budget things, and that's all stuff that I'm down to watch right now.
You know what's great when they have interesting thumbnails.
Mhm.
They just don't put like the generic poster or whatever of something
Mhm.
of a movie, but they maybe they like look through the film to find an interesting shot, and then they'll do that as the thumbnail, which is
Yeah.
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 Anyway, yeah, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
Do you want to get into our questions?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay. So I'll ask the first one since this is the one I wrote. I want to know a movie that makes you squirm or like cringe like the most. So like it could be like a really gross movie like Human Centipede
Mhm.
or you know, there's different types of squirming and cringing. I don't mean cringing like, oh, I'm so embarrassed, but
Yeah.
just so like, ugh, fingernails coming off or something. Do you have a movie that comes to mind?
You know, I you took my answer already. I was gonna. The only thing I could come up with was Human Centipede. That movie grossed me out a lot when I
Yeah.
saw it.
I mean, and that's the first one I thought of when I was like thinking like grossest movie. I also thought about what you call it, Hostel. for me, there's like some moments in there where like, I was younger watching and I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say body horror in general is probably what makes me cringe the most. Any bones breaking maybe as well.
Okay.
Any practical effects that are really good.
Yeah. What about like The Fly
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty
or like The
gross.
Thing? Those have pretty,
Yeah, but I think it's less. I don't know. I feel like when it's less realistic,
yeah.
when I know it's like an alien and it's just transforming somebody's body or something,
Okay.
like even the fly, like I know he's turning into a fly,
Yeah.
as opposed
Okay.
to like an actual something happening to like a normal person.
Yeah. The really realistic
Yeah.
human centipede. Yeah.
Um, for example, I probably cringed at the part in this movie when somebody breaks a bone and it sticks out
Y-
of their body.
Yeah. I think that really gets me. Like, I've seen some stuff from like real life videos where like that kind of stuff happens and I freak out. Not so much in movies. Um, I will say Hostel is like one of the first ones I thought of. Human Centipede, I think I watched it at some point. I don't remember it at all, which is probably a good thing.
Hmm.
Bone Tomahawk had a pretty intense scene. And then Teton, I think that's how you say that. That's one that I watched.
Yeah.
And that one, I think that one might be the one that like yeah, there's a certain part that really got to me.
Yeah, I don't remember Human Centipede that well either.
Probably for the best.
I think one of them survives. I don't know which one. I don't think it's the back one.
I
I
don't
I think the back one just dies of like poisoning
yeah.
or malnourishment.
Yeah, I don't
I,
know
I don't remember if it's the
how
second one or the first one that survives. I think the first one would have been obvious, so it's the second one that I don't know.
yeah. I don't have the need to ever rewatch that. Do you want to ask your question?
Sure. Okay. I'm actually really curious about this one because you know more actors than I do, and I feel like you talk about actors a lot, but I never ever hear you say if you have a favorite or if you've ever had a favorite. So I'm just gonna so I pose the question as a current favorite actor. So what's your favorite actor currently, or an actor that you can't wait to see in a weird horror film if you can't, that's the alternative if you can't find the current favorite actor.
I'm sure like there are actors that I'm like really into right now, and of course when you ask it, like they all go out of my head.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I think my first favorite actor when I was a kid, when I was 9, was Johnny Depp because
Mm,
of Sleepy Hollow and Christina Ricci.
of course. Yeah.
And that's like, I learned who they were and I watched like all the stuff that like they had previously done and then all the stuff that came out later. Like that was pretty big. I'm not as into him nowadays. He isn't in as like much that I like anymore. Same as Tim Burton doesn't do a lot of things that I'm as into anymore.
Mhm.
But back in the day, I was, even Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I really liked. Everybody hated. I really liked.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, we've all had favorite actors in the past,
yeah.
but
Currently, I mean, there's certain people that I am curious to see them in things. Sydney Sweeney, she's pretty like interesting in things.
mhm.
Florence Pugh is like, um, one of the ones that I like watching in things right now is Ella Purnell, the
Yeah.
girl from Fallout.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's been in a horror movie. I'd be down to see that. There's a
Mhm.
lot that I like that have already been in horror movies. So like Elizabeth Olsen, I really like her nowadays. Sophie Thatcher we saw in Heretic. She's been in, I feel like, other horror movies too. Isn't she coming out in that new one? She's the one in Companion, I think.
Hmm.
Margaret Qualley. She's been in, you know, she's in The Substance, obviously. As far as seeing someone in a weird horror movie, I really like when dramatic actors or like comedic actors even all of a sudden are in like a dark like horror movie or something like that. Like
Yeah.
Hugh Grant
Hmm.
in Heretic. Like that's like one of the roles. So I was trying to think of like people I'd like to see. One of them I would have said before, but then he ended up coming out, and one was the guy from Late Night with the Devil,
Yeah, yeah. What's his name?
David Dismalchian. I don't know how to say that,
Yeah, David
but yeah.
Dalmatian.
But then he came in that, so and then Dennis O'Hare. I love him and
Mm.
his weirdness. He's been in like weird things, so like it wouldn't be that shocking. Someone I came up with though that like I was like I could see them in like a weird A24, like they could be very villainous. Bryan Cranston,
Mm. Hmm.
right?
But he's been villainous before.
Yes, and I guess that's why, but I'd like to see him in something like, again where it's not just like criminal villainous, but more like scary.
Yeah. I'm I'm sort of tired of seeing the same people though. Like
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston has been in so much.
I feel like he hasn't been in as much lately. I feel like after Breaking Bad he was in a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's kind of like mellowed out. That's why I'm like, I'd be down to see him in something like Heretic or something. Like that's very like dialogue heavy or like, The Lighthouse.
Mhm.
Something where you feel like you're watching like a play almost.
Yeah, yeah. I
What's
agree.
your answer?
Well, I'm gonna have to say I agree with all of that. Um, yeah, I like it as well when actors from other genres or, the- that actors that are typecast all the time
Yes.
in films, switch over to something new.
Because they are good. They just don't get the chance to like show it.
Yeah. Like Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Uncut Gems. That's one of the ones I was thinking about.
Or that weird spider movie with it, which I never saw.
Which spider movie?
Yeah, when he's in space and he's talking to a tarantula.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Really?
Yeah. No idea.
Yeah, it's like some psychological thing. He starts talking to
Okay.
a tarantula in
Okay.
space.
Guess I'll have to look that up. Now I'm curious.
Um, you know what? I was gonna make a joke, but actually it's not a joke anymore, I think. I'm gonna say Timothy Chalamet.
How did you say that? I feel like you said
Chalamet?
it weird. Chalamet? Ay, ay, ay.
Timothy
Is your
Ch
favorite actor or is someone you want to see in a weird horror
Someone I
movie?
want to see. I feel like Timothy Chalamet only plays good guys, right? Like he's only ever played good guys.
I think
Like can I want
necessarily. I mean, he was in Bones and all. I mean, not that he was a bad guy in that, but that's like
like I
horror-ish.
but I want to see him like a true like character t just terrible person role, you know? Like he's a freaking I don't know, a freaking ghost or something. I don't know, a demon or something.
Like possessed, you mean?
Maybe. I don't, well, just anything. Anything where he's
Okay.
just like where you truly hate somebody. You know when you see those actors, when you see those horror movies and the main bad guy or villain just does something horrible and you hate them, but it's always a generic person that you don't know, like a generic actor you don't know, because they would never put them in the like main actors in that role.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So yeah, I want to see somebody like Timothy Chalamet in a crazy role where they're the villain, and you end up hating them at the end.
Mm.
As far as favorite actor, currently, I don't think I have one. Yeah, I don't think I have one. I really like Sydney Sweeney as well, and I want to see
Hmm.
what else she's in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. As far as like the big male stars, like I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'm really fond of anyone. I mean, especially, I mean, Keanu Reeves is always great, but is he great,
Yeah.
or do we just love him because he's Keanu Reeves?
Yeah. I mean, he's great in certain things.
Yeah.
He's good at playing a certain thing. Yeah. All right. Final question. Who's your favorite horror movie protagonist slash hero? So it could be like your favorite final girl or, something like that.
Okay. I asked you what the hell a final girl was because I didn't know what that was.
And I felt so sad that I had to tell you what that was.
But it literally is the final girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a technical term.
It's because, all the old like scary movies, there's like the virgin girl who like is usually the one that survives. There's the friend that hooks up with everyone that like
Hmm.
dies. There's the black person that dies first,
Hmm.
you know.
All right. All right. For my final girl, I pick the final girl. Who's the final girl in all of horror, in all of sci-fi?
I mean, that depends on who you ask.
I'm going with Sigourney Weaver
Okay.
as Ripley.
But as soon as you said sci-fi, I was like, Ripley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I choose Ripley. She's a
Okay.
badass.
Cool. I'm down with that.
My runner up, and I guess she wasn't really in a horror film, unless you consider Terminator in a horror film.
Mm,
But Sarah
Sarah.
Connor,
Sarah Connor.
I don't know the actress's name. Do you know?
Not off the top of my head. I feel like I've known it at times, but right now I can't think of it.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, Ripley and Sarah Connor, those are like two iconic survivalist
Okay. I like
final
those
girls.
answers, especially because those are a little more old school. Um, do you have a different like movie protagonist hero that's not necessarily a final girl? Do you have a final guy or like some other hero? It doesn't even have to be like the person that survives.
Favorite protagonist hero.
I mean, it doesn't have to be hero necessarily,
Yeah,
but
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say John McClane.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Bruce Willis in his prime. He survived three terrorist attacks. Well, more if you count the other movies. I think there's two more movies. But yeah,
So that's your
I feel,
overall favorite protagonist. That's cool.
or something like him. So, I'm probably blanking on movies right now, but something similar to that kind of protagonist where he's kind of like, I don't know, he's kind of a mess and he finds himself in this wild situation and he needs to get out of it somehow. Yeah, just like Die Hard 1. Um, yeah, anything like that is always great.
Right. I'm gonna say the first one off the top of my head was Sydney Prescott. You know who that is, right?
Remind me.
Scream,
Oh yeah, yeah, Scream, Scream.
Nev Campbell. Because, she's the one that, Scream is the one that, like, pointed out all the tropes and stuff and was very meta at the
Yeah,
time, I guess. So, yeah.
yeah, that's a
And
good one.
yeah, she was really cool. I also really I liked Scout Taylor Compton's performance in Halloween from Rob Zombie, especially I think the second one. So Laurie Strode, but I I like Jamie Lee Curtis, but I
Mhm.
feel like something about the Rob Zombie ones were just really brutal, and the way that like Scout screamed in those and everything, like I just like it was a lot. There's a lot of gore, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of screaming. I just had a fun time with those movies. And then one of the newer ones that I kind of went to, man, she does some dumb stuff, but she also does some pretty smart stuff. I really liked The Girl in Barbarian.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like, she has some smart moments. Same as Sophie Thatcher and or not even like Sophie Thatcher and the other girl, I forget her name from Heretic. They also did like some pretty smart things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like seeing characters I like movies when they don't make them just do all the dumb things when they're actually like doing things where you're like, Shh, I wouldn't have even thought about doing that. Good on you. And it still doesn't work.
Mhm.
That's when it's like fun. It's like, well, at least they tried, I'm not mad at them. But yeah. So yeah, probably the typical final girl. Mine is Sydney.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I don't know. Would you say do we have a wide range a wide long list to choose from final girls that are iconic?
Nowadays? Um, yeah, I feel like there's a decent amount.
Okay. I just can't remember any now, but I'm sure there are.
Yeah. I mean, there's some pretty tough ones out there. All
Yeah.
right. Do you want to do our little 5 word
Mhm.
game
Let's
before we start talking about the innocents?
let's do it. All right.
Okay.
So we'd like to do a little game where we try to describe this movie, The Innocents, in 5 words. And no, Mia's gonna pick a word, then I'll pick a word, and then back and forth until we pick five. And that's gonna describe this movie. And then do you want to try to put it into a cohesive sentence at the end?
I mean, you can try that. I'm not gonna.
All right.
All right. So I'll go first.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with an easy pick first. Bullying.
Bullying. Okay. I'm gonna go with we have to we have to have the main protagonist in this movie, so I'm gonna go with children.
Okay. I had childhood on my list, but that was I was like, I feel like he might say something like that, so that's gonna be a backup that I'm probably not gonna use. Um, my next one, incomprehensible.
Ooh, I like that one. I'm writing these down. Okay, let's see. Hmm. Okay, I can choose a safe one or I can choose one that's out there and hopefully you choose the safe one. Or I can choose one that's
Go with
okay.
what your gut's saying. Come on.
I'm gonna go with murder.
Hmm. I wasn't expecting that. Um, my last one, responsibility.
Responsibility. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I would say this movie, The Innocents, is about some children, and there's some bullying involved, and something incomprehensible happens, and there's murder, and it has to all of it ties up to responsibility. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So, The Innocents is from 2021. Again, it's written and directed by Eskil Vogt. The characters, it's basically about four children: Ida, Anna, Ben, and Aisha. My quick summary I wrote down after we watched it is a young girl named Ida and her autistic sister move with their family after her father gets a new job. She quickly befriends a boy, Ben, living in the same community, while her sister, Anna, makes friends with another little girl, Aisha. Ben and Aisha seem to have special mental abilities that Anna can tap into as well. Ben deals with bullying inside and outside the home, which in turn causes him to be a bit troubled and act out. As trouble arises, as trouble arises and escalates, these young kids are left alone to deal with problems that are way beyond their mental capacity.
Good job.
So what did you think of the movie?
You know, we should probably mention that there's going to be full spoilers for anybody. If anybody discovers this podcast and they're just listening to it, I don't think we've mentioned spoilers at all.
I just always assume people know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I guess we can put a little warning. I mean, some podcasts do that. They'll say we're doing spoiler talk. There will be spoilers. There will be cussing potentially. There will be, heavy
Yeah,
topics.
yeah.
Yeah.
But just, yeah,
Okay.
disclaimer, there's full spoilers from here on. Let's All right, let's get into it.
All right.
I I really like this movie.
Good.
I didn't know where it was going. I heard nothing about this movie. I didn't even read a description. I only saw this poster
Mm-hmm.
of this girl in a playground on a wheel, and she is upside down, falling to the sky, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, they do quite a few shots where it's like flipped upside down.
But I think, yes, I think this movie was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
The children were all great. Though there's a caveat to that because this is a Norwegian film and it's all in Norwegian. So I never know if the children's acting is great or we just don't understand maybe some of the nuances of what's good acting because we just don't know the language, you know? Do you ever get that?
Um, yeah, sometimes when I watch foreign films and I'm reading subtitles the whole time, there comes a certain point where I feel like I haven't heard any dialogue at all.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you're not actually like hearing it from them. So like it's like, man, this movie like, like it does something weird in my brain. And sometimes you miss out on certain acting things because you are reading the subtitles. But no, I feel like they were good.
I
I
think
feel
so
like you
too.
can see wooden acting even if it's in another language,
Yeah. I think they were good too.
especially with what they had to do.
Yeah.
And I think anytime a character is playing an autistic character, because I'm assuming that girl wasn't
Yeah, yeah.
autistic,
Yeah, because she had to
she
sh
had to do non, like,
mhm.
yeah,
She had to play a normal person at times, a non-autistic kid.
yeah. I don't know how to phrase that well, but yes. Um, yeah, it was, especially, it's all about the kids and it's centers around them. They're the main characters. You have a couple adults,
Mhm.
in the picture, but like they're the ones leading the show. Like the movie is carried by them, and it
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, it almost reminded me of a story Stephen King would write
Yeah, I could see that.
because he puts children a lot in his books.
Hmm.
And yeah, all everybody did amazing. I would say, well, maybe let's not talk about the ending just yet, but yeah, there's this movie went places that I didn't think it was gonna go.
Yeah, neither of us had any idea what it was about. Didn't read a summary, didn't see a trailer. All we saw was the poster.
Hmm. Like
And I had
there's
no idea what was going to happen. Even as the movie went on, I was like, where is this going?
yeah, there's children getting murdered. There's superpowers. There is trauma, neglectful parents, awful parents. Yeah, there's
I mean, parents also trying their best.
yeah. Yeah, that's well maybe we'll get into that at the end.
I feel like this is a movie that, yeah, you could really look into the psychological aspects of it and people and bullying and abuse. And it's, I'm not that good at talking about things like on that deep of a level, but it, yeah, it had some pretty
Yeah.
like heavy things. And
Yeah, there's definitely something there that I
yeah.
want to try to tap into because there's a moment in the film where one of the kids does something awful.
I mean, we're talking spoilers. You can just
Yeah.
say it.
You know, the boy freaking squishes a cat's head and
I mean, after they threw it off
after
the
they
staircase.
after they threw it off the staircase and Mia was like,
I'm done.
I want these kids to die. Let's just kill them. But at the same time, like, okay, these kids are just being kids. You know, sure, that's an awful thing that they did. I'm sure, you know, when we've known kids that have done terrible things like that, like freaking kick a cat or something, or a dog, or throwing rocks at a dog or something. But there's also more to it. It's not just like these kids are awful. No, like these kids are,
Like, there's a reason.
yeah, they have shit in their life that they don't know how to deal
Yeah.
with.
And that's how it is a lot of the time, you know? Sometimes the kid that's lashing out and acting up, it's because they have stuff going on at home and you just never know. And I mean, some people are just born and they're just psychopaths but, you know, there's nature versus nurture.
Hmm.
And of course, nature will take charge in certain ways, but nurturing can have an effect. And Ben, who's the little boy, he has an abusive mom.
Or
The kids,
so we think by the bruises.
I mean, so he's bruised, and then the way she was yelling at him, the way she grabbed his face, like
Yeah. But we never
it,
actually see her hit him. That's just like I don't even know.
yeah,
There was something with the dad too, but I like the dad was mentioned once, right?
yeah. But I think it's implying that
Yeah.
he's abused. So he doesn't have a safe spot at home, and then when he's out on the playground, the older kids are mean to him.
Yeah.
And so he finally befriends this girl, and she's going through her own stuff. Her sister's autistic. It's her older sister. She's not like much older, but a little bit older. She's Ida's the younger sister taking care of the older sister.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
and she feels like she's being neglected a little bit because her sister requires so much attention.
yeah, everything's about the sister. She's being put in charge when she's young and she should be being taken care of instead. And you see her act out in ways too. So she meets this little boy and they kind of act out together. They
Yeah.
get a little sadistic, but you can see that there's points where she draws the line and like he keeps going and she's kind of like, "Ooh, that's not okay." And
Yeah.
but, you know, it's her new friend. She is still kind of like curious, and then we get into the supernatural
Hmm.
element.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. Because it's at first I'm like, okay, it's not superpowers. There's something with this town. Maybe there's like a reactor that's pulling the metal or something, and that's
Mm.
why he moves the little cap. But then she doesn't move it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay,
I
there's something else going on here.
I think I believed it was him right away, but I didn't know if like I thought maybe they were in some like, place with radiation or
Hmm.
something where they were gaining powers from it, or like, something in the water or something like affecting the kids.
I think that's still true though. I
I
think
mean, it could be, but we don't know.
I think there's still something around this town. Maybe where all the parents work at, because this is a weird building. Like it's just these like two buildings or two or three buildings full of
I mean, it seems like a little community area,
yeah.
but I don't know. I'm not from Norway, so I don't know if that's just kind of normal.
Yeah. I mean, from I got the impression that it was something in this town, or because then all the kids get involved at the end, like they're all looking at each other. Like, how could there be so many special gifted kids in this place?
I didn't know that that was them being gifted or if that was them being affected by the power of Ben and like Anna and Ida.
Mm,
Like maybe kids are more sensitive to it, but like, he could control parents. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it does seem like it's something with the kids in general.
But what about the main little girl though? She doesn't have any powers at the beginning, and then
Yeah, at the
she rips
beginning.
open her
Yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
So
I
she
mean, it's still, yeah. It seems like there's something going on there.
yeah, I don't know. I I don't want to jump to the end here, but I'm just gonna say I kind of wish there was just a little bit more information about that. But that's just the sci-fi guy in me.
Yeah. But also that means, when you want to know more, it's because it's an interesting plot, right? There's
Hmm.
some interesting lore there. I don't think it was the type where I'm like questioning it because it doesn't make sense. It's more just I'm questioning it because I want to know more.
Yeah. No, no, yeah, yeah. No. I mean, it still works. I'm still satisfied.
Yeah.
But yeah, because sometimes if they do reveal something, then it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Do you know why I chose the term incomprehensible?
Uh, no. I thought it was because the superpowers.
No, it was just more like because they're children, they're dealing with these things that are way beyond them, and how do you how do you deal with, people facing abuse, or how do you deal with somebody having autism? How do you deal with different problems that parents are having? Like, I mean, Aisha, her dad died, right? And that's why her mom was like crying multiple times.
Yeah, I think so.
And then at the end of the day, when Ben starts turning against them and people start dying, like, how do you deal with that? How do you take on Ben and then you add on superpowers on
Hmm.
top of it? It's just being a kid is already so hard.
Yeah.
And then you're adding in all this is just, you know, the story at its core is already about a child and the things that they have to deal with. They
Yeah.
just bump it up to 10 by adding superpowers.
What the heck? That's our dog barking. Tally, come here. All right.
How did you feel about the different parents?
How did I feel about them as people?
Yeah,
I would say they probably all had flaws. I don't necessarily know if I would have done something different. Obviously, the the boy has it the worst,
yeah.
but like the mom of the telepath girl,
Aisha's mom.
yeah, she's just grieving. So like, I can't fault her for if she's sort of neglecting her child because of it. That's bad as
I
well.
mean,
But
I don't think I got that she was really neglecting her that much, though.
yeah,
I mean, she was very caring and
mhm,
understanding, and there's like the moment when Aisha's just talking about praying, and she's like, "Do I have to pray like the way we always do it? Can I pray for different things?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's fine, or can I just listen?" And she didn't quite understand what her daughter meant. And she was just like, "Yeah, that's okay." Like she was always saying that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And even when the little girl was scared and she asked her, she's like, "Are you scared? You want to sleep in my room? Yeah, go ahead." So like she seemed like she was mourning and had the weight of the world on her shoulders as a parent, but was still like really there for her child.
mhm,
And I guess that really showed the difference in situations between Aisha and like Ben. Like Ben's father wasn't around. I'm not exactly sure what was happening there, but look at the way his mom was acting and treating him.
yeah,
And so you see the way it affects the kids.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I would maybe neglecting was a poor choice of words, but I mean, obviously she is being affected somehow by this. Because if
Yeah.
she's lost a father and she sees her mom constantly crying in the other room, like that is definitely taking a toll. In that
Yeah.
in that child's not gonna grow up. Um, you know, she's gonna grow up with trauma no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, we all have our childhood traumas. We all have our core memories that stick with us some more than others. And I mean, all these kids would probably benefit from therapy.
Yeah.
And then what did you think of the main character, Ida and Anna's parents? They're the only ones that had a father in the picture,
Mhm.
but he wasn't really at the forefront. The mom was kind of more.
Yeah. Well, just because he was working all the time, right, at this new place, so we didn't see him as
Yeah.
much. But I mean, they seemed like nice parents.
Yeah. They seemed a little in the middle between the other two parents.
Yeah.
So, like, they were doing their best to be there and be like patient and understanding, but at the same time, like, especially since they had an autistic child,
Mhm.
Ida did get neglected a little bit. She did, have to take on a lot as a young child. And there were certain things where, like, when Anna gets hurt and the mom is trying to find out what happened, and she kind of like tries to manipulate Ida.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
comes into the room and is like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that you're okay," and blah blah blah, like trying to like comfort her. And you shouldn't have to be responsible for your sister. I know we put a lot on you and it's not fair. And then she like switches and it's like, "Oh, this is why you're here." She's like, "So what happened? Are you going to tell me what really happened?" So it's
Yeah.
kind of like you just gave her all this like care, and then it's like, "Oh, it's about Anna again and what happened to her." And then I also found it interesting that when Ida comes back and is like, "No, Anna can talk. Like she can say, come on, Anna, say stuff." And
Mhm.
she gets a little forceful with her, trying to like get her to speak in front of her mom to prove that she's, telling the truth. And the mom gets like upset about it. Like,
Mhm.
leave her alone, stop touching her. And then later on, after she's heard Anna say stuff, the mom does the same thing when the dad's there.
Yeah.
Like she's like forcing it out of her, like, come on, do it, do it. It was just kind of like ironic that She just did the same thing she gave her daughter a hard time about.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that family, it just, yeah, there's definitely, it just definitely shows like the desperation of,
Oh yeah, that's like I can't even imagine and what the mom was going through and then finally hearing her daughter speak.
yeah.
And you do wonder, after Aisha died, if Anna will ever speak again or will she ever progress or will she just be stuck? And the movie kind of does the Inception ending.
Hmm. Yeah. I really want to know what she was gonna write.
What
I
did
get,
you think about? Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead because I'm going to change the subject.
No, I was gonna talk more about the ending.
Oh, okay. I was just going to ask what you thought about the like special abilities.
Yeah, I mean, it was, yeah, I don't know. It's because the main girl, the main little girl, so what? She just developed telekinesis or whatever. Like
Yeah,
it,
I don't know.
like it wasn't a different ability. It was just another kid with telekinesis, the same as the boy. Like if she maybe I thought there was gonna be a different ability or something. Like I don't know. But the abilities. I mean, I really like what they were doing with the boy. Like what happens when you give power to this freaking boy who's traumatized and is just being turning out to be a psychopath.
Yeah, power in the wrong hands.
Like I found it interesting that the children took it upon themselves to kill this kid.
I mean, some of their abilities made sense with who they seemed like as people. So he was,
Hmm.
the most troubled. He was the one acting out. He had the most anger. So it kind of made sense that his abilities were more aggressive. And then, I mean, he lacked control in his life, but yet he could control people with his mind.
Yeah.
He could like take over. And then Aisha seemed, I mean, like even from her mom was very sympathetic, seemed to be very caring and compassionate. And I think Aisha was like that. And so it made sense that she could hear others and she could feel their pain and tap in their heads.
Hmm.
And that she had that connection with Anna and was able to help her.
Yeah.
So maybe, maybe Ben's powers would have been a bit different if he had that care and compassion from a parent.
I just don't know. I don't know if it was necessary for the main little girl to suddenly develop powers. Like that didn't really contribute. Like why did she need to break the cast?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I was like, so is her leg suddenly healed now too? But I think it was just about she finally was taking care of her sister. Before her sister was a nuisance. Her sister was, like she was hurting her sister basically. How many times did she like cause her sister pain just
Hmm.
because, she was just kind of resentful. And then
But she
in
could.
the end, she's coming to her sister's aid.
Yeah, but I still don't understand why they needed to give her abilities as well. She could have just done all that.
What would she have done though? I mean, she tried to do things without abilities,
I
and
just
that
don't
clearly
understand.
didn't work.
I don't understand what the cast was preventing her from doing. Could she not like?
I
Or
think it was just slowing her down.
I feel like she took more time trying to rip it and break it.
I mean, she was pretty high up, right? Like floor wise, it was a lot of stairs, and then she dropped her uh, crutch.
Hmm.
The elevator was taking a long time. Like if she was like trying to hobble down all the steps, she probably would have been too late. I think it just finally pushed her. I like you were saying a lot of the kids seemed like maybe all the kids had something in them, but they just weren't tapping into it yet. They hadn't grown into it yet in this like community. It seemed like all the kids were affected in like one way or another. And so maybe it was there for her the whole time, but she finally got, I don't know, the inspiration, the what's that term? She was finally pushed enough to like, tap into it.
Yeah.
It was a make or break moment, and it was not just her life on the line. She was watching her sister.
Yeah. I mean, I understand all that. I just don't know if she needed powers as well to convey the same thing that the movie's conveying. Because, I mean, uh, yeah, I mean, it was always implied that the sister with autism was much stronger than him, you know?
I don't think she was, though, after Aisha died. I think that's kind of it. I think she was only like that really because of Aisha.
Hmm.
So I think she needed that help from somebody else. She needed somebody to
She need the power of all the
lean
children.
the power of many.
The power of all the children in the building.
Yeah, I think without somebody there to help her along the way, I don't think her abilities, I don't know if her abilities were even really there at that point.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I
Okay.
don't know. It
Um.
just reminded me of Halloween Town when all the when they're like trying to get rid of the guy at the end and they're all holding hands.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. I think that moment was still a tiny bit weird for me.
Okay, maybe that's fair.
I mean, I do like the abilities. I mean, not even the abilities themselves. I do like that they're gifted in some way, and you don't know what's causing this. And it is the abilities are a device to just show what sort of destruction would happen if if you really give kids control when they're going through such crazy shit in their life. Like it's
Yeah.
almost just a device to show like the internal like struggle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Like regardless of the superpower, like just like I think that's what the movie is trying to tell us. Like, hey, it's not about the powers. It's about what.
These kids,
Yeah,
trauma that they're dealing with, and youth, and ultimately, children are innocent, right? Like,
there you go.
they should be at least.
You tied it all together. The innocence.
I mean, kids should be carefree. They should be able to just enjoy themselves and not have to be dealing with things like this. Like, these are deep topics for a kid to have to deal with.
Mhm.
And so often they are dealing with it on their own. The parents are so wrapped up in their roles and trying to deal with their own stuff. And they want to be there for their kids, but they're not always seeing the effect that they're having on their kids and the trauma that they're passing on to their kids. And even when you're doing your best, and even when you're like Aisha's mom, who really was, I feel like, doing everything she could. You can't protect your kids from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad movie at the end of the day, you know? And you
Yeah.
don't, you know, you don't want any of the kids to die, even though I kind of did because I killed the cat. But
I mean, the main boy, he needed to die. I'm gonna
he
s-
needed to.
I'm gonna say it.
But
He
even for him, his story is still tragic.
right, right.
It's like he needed to because he was gonna kill the little girls. He already killed Aisha, who
A-
was like,
and his powers were only gonna get stronger.
yes,
And he would take over the whole world by then.
yeah. He killed one of the bullies. Oh yeah, we never even talked about the bone
Oh yeah, the bone. Yeah, yeah. That was the
boy
squeamish.
playing basketball, and he just snapped his leg and made the bone come out. Yeah, that's. I knew that was gonna happen though. He had the stick break.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's gonna be as soon as they were showing the boys playing, I was like, he's gonna do something. Oh no, his leg is gonna snap it. Yeah, so he clearly was. I mean, he killed his mom. We never even talked about that. He killed his mom.
Yeah.
So anybody who slighted him, he was gonna come after. But it is still just like tragic. And you just wish that, it hadn't gotten to that point. And that's what you wish with a lot of kids that end up doing horrible things. You wish that they had had the care and love and the therapy to help them along the way so that they don't get to that point.
The little girl, the empath story. Yeah, that was the most tragic one.
Hmm.
Her-
Her mom, he
Yeah.
made her mom kill her.
Yeah.
So then it's like, not only did you kill that little girl, that mom who was already dealing with stuff, like, now she's like, I killed my daughter. Like,
Yeah.
why did I kill my daughter? Like, I blacked out. I didn't even know this happened. But she didn't do it. He controlled her. Like,
Hmm.
it's just, that
And
was really sad.
and what the hell was that thing that she saw, dude? That was crazy.
Yeah, I liked that. I want to go back and just look at the still
Yeah.
frame of that.
Yeah, maybe I should just fucking look it up.
Yeah, I found so the basically he controlled people, and like he controls Ida. She asks him to because she's like, prove it, show me,
Hmm.
and so he controls her, and she drops the stick, and then when she comes out of it, she was like, oh, it was a snake. This I dropped a stick because it looked like a snake, and he's like, oh, are you scared of snakes? And she's like, yeah, that's like my biggest fear.
Hmm.
And so clearly they're seeing something else when they're being controlled by him.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like they needed to show what those other people were seeing, but I'm not mad that they did. It was kind of
Hmm.
interesting. So when Ida was being controlled later on, walking in traffic, it showed what she was seeing. She saw a snake, and then she saw somebody chasing her.
So who were they? There was several people chasing her. Like what was
I mean,
her?
I don't think it was necessarily anything. I think it was just what she was seeing.
Was just people chasing her? Adults? It looked like
Yeah.
adult. Well, one of them didn't have a leg too.
Yeah, one of them didn't have a leg, but I don't think it was, I think it was just, she was just seeing scary stuff. So it's whatever that person is like scared of, or yeah, it was just like they were in a different area. Because Aisha's mom, it's like she heard like a dog or like wolf or something growling at first, and then
Yeah.
there was like whatever else that was that her daughter looked like.
And
Um,
then you got that guy that was trying to
yeah,
come in the door. Who knows what that guy was seeing?
I want to know what the guy who killed the bully was seeing.
Oh yeah.
But again, that's what I mean. Like, it's not. I I
Yeah.
don't know that it needed it.
Mhm.
I think it was still interesting, and so I'm not mad that it was there. I'm not saying whether they should or shouldn't have done it. I don't know where I fall on that. I just didn't think it was needed, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it was needed either, but I mean I did enjoy that scene though with the mom.
Yeah, that's what makes me be like, I'm happy it was there because I liked that. The part with the little girl, I didn't feel like was as needed.
Yeah.
It just felt kind of different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
But again, I wasn't mad about it.
You know what
But
this
yeah,
reminded me
man.
of?
Hmm.
This reminded me a little bit of Twilight Zone. That one episode where the little boy gets superpowers and he starts taking over the world, and everybody's a slave to this kid
Never seen it.
because this kid can literally do anything. He's like basically God. Um, yeah, I don't remember how that ends, but I remember that episode. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. I think I was expecting this to be more like Children of the Corn or something when I saw the poster and that it's like, oh, it's about kids. Okay, so are these going to be like demonic kids or something? And it was it was deeper than I thought it was going to be. It was a little more like simple than I was expecting, which is like a good thing. It was just more about these kids and even their superpowers weren't like over the top. They weren't like showing them doing a bunch of crazy things all the time. It was really well done.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it. At first, I was like, I don't think I'm like even if this movie's going to be great, I can't imagine like me wanting to rewatch it just cuz that cat scene or like I don't know, would I recommend it to people? Just say that there's one scene that I don't like, but I'd rewatch it. I'd probably skip over that, but I'd rewatch it and I would recommend it to other people.
Yeah, I would say this does deserve a second rewatching. I think there might be stuff that we're missing too, like we just
Yeah.
didn't catch.
And I
And I'm curious to go back and see if I see anything different. But yeah.
I like, the psychological aspects of it and kids and the trauma and stuff. I think it's an interesting plot with or without the horror, with or without the supernatural abilities and everything. It's just,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything else we want to say? What time are we at?
Oh, we're a bit over time.
Were you not
We're
watching it?
No, I was, but I wasn't going to cut us off in the middle of it.
Okay.
We're okay. So yeah, no idea what we're going to watch next week, huh?
No idea
I
yet.
This is what happens when I let you pick.
Yeah, I know.
I have a
Um,
big list on my phone of possibilities.
I don't know what to watch. I don't know whether to pick an older movie
I mean,
or a
that's
newer
fine.
one because I'm not too
Up to
what
date on stuff.
yeah, I'm not up to date on the newer horror movies. I did a little research when you first told me about it and I'm like, okay, what came out in 2023? What came out in 2022?
I mean, no, it doesn't have to be that. There's
Yeah,
so many movies that we haven't seen.
well that's the other thing too is like should I pick a movie that we both haven't seen or maybe that one of us has seen? Like yeah, I just need a little more time.
I
Try.
would say for the next one, pick one that neither of us has seen, so that at least we've both picked one that we've gone in blind for.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even, look at directors that you like and see like if there's something else that they've done that you're like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to see this,
Mhm.
or you can look at top lists from other people or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm curious what you'll pick. That's why I want to know.
I just don't want to pick something that's just not great. Like, oh, let's watch this movie that we both haven't seen and then we ended up just not liking it or something.
Yeah, but that's fun to talk about too. We're not going to watch all home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the ones that we've watched, I mean, The Damned was, it was all right. It wasn't like amazing.
Mhm.
Um, the other two are ones that we, I mean, we've both wanted to see the original Speak No Evil, and then this one has been on my list because I've just heard people mention it time and time again. I have never heard them say anything about it, just them mention it that it's good, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Um, yeah. I'll
All
come up
right,
with something.
all
All
right.
right.
Thanks for doing this with me.
You're welcome. And
and
I'm still living in fear.
and if anyone's out there listening, thanks for listening.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.